Yo, what is good?
Welcome back to another episode of the Trap Podcast with your boy Dizzy De Niro, as you said.
Dizzy De Niro.
And boy Flying J. I like the music. And today, we are here to talk about a retro global phenomenon in Mortal Kombat. This is, I think, everybody's childhood movie, game, whatever. Flying J, were you a bigger fan of Street Fighter or were you a bigger fan of Mortal Kombat growing up? Don't lie.
Okay, so let me ask a counter question and then I answer that. Did Mortal Kombat start with the Sega Genesis?
Mortal Kombat.
The game.
I think it was, you know what? I don't know. I know who do know, but we'll bring him in. Okay. Hold up. Before we get in, we are here with my cousin Castro. Welcome to the show, Cass. How you doing, brother?
What's going on?
All right, so we broadcast this. Cass in my family is a Mortal Kombat guy. He's a Street Fighter guy, Tekken guy. When it comes to these video games and understanding the backstories, he knows a lot. So we're broadcasting to talk about the new Mortal Kombat 2 trailer. Cass, did you see the trailer?
Yeah, I saw the trailer.
All right, so now before all of that, bro, Johnny just asked a good question, bro. Did Mortal Kombat originally for the Super Nintendo or was it for the Sega?
It originally was for the arcade, but the first console it was ported to was the Super Nintendo.
Nintendo?
Okay.
Gotcha. I got you, dog. Yeah. All right, dog. So bring it back right back to you, Johnny. So again, were you a bigger fan of Street Fighter or Mortal Kombat, bro?
I played the first game I played was Mortal Kombat, but if you're asking me, I played Mortal Kombat very religiously, but I was more of a Street Fighter fan.
So which one do you think was a bigger franchise though as a kid?
As a kid, starting off was Mortal Kombat, and then Street Fighter kind of overtook it. I felt.
Okay, well, I'm leaving it at that. Castro, how about you? I know you, but what was you a bigger fan of? Cause was you bigger of a Street Fighter or a Mortal Kombat, bro?
It wasn't really so much for me of what was bigger. It was more of what, we had access to. So like for us, we had access first to Street Fighter because Street Fighter came out in the 80s.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the thing was, like, remember, Steve played the original Street Fighter, and we didn't know what the hell he was talking about.
We're like,
you know what I'm saying? Because, like, he was like, there was this game with this guy in a white costume, and he was walking around beating up people. We was like, we're religiously looking for this game, not knowing what he's talking about. Yeah. But then the whole time, we're over here playing Street Fighter 2, where he's talking about Ryu beating up, like Birdie and all them, dudes from who we eventually get introduced to in Alpha. Yeah. But the thing is, like, so we started playing Street Fighter first, but then obviously when Mortal Kombat came out, it was such a phenomenon that, it basically took the world by storm. So for like me, it wasn't so much of, which one I preferred. It was more of like, kind of like this conversation, we all together and everything. And, if we're happening to be talking about like, I learned a new move with Johnny Cage, once we get home, we play Mortal Kombat, or like, I finally learned how to do, Chun-Li's Kakukin. Like, so that's how it was with me, you know what I'm saying? And, I basically just rode the waves.
All right. So you brought up a good name, Johnny Cage. It's a character I used to like playing with. My top 3 characters was Liu Kang, Kung Lao, Johnny Cage. I got to learn later on with the shadow kicks. Like that. But speaking of Johnny Cage, Castro, bro. So in the new Mortal Kombat 2 trailer, as you saw, it looks like it's going to be focused around Johnny Cage.
Like he's a main character.
Yes, exactly. As a main character. Have you been keeping up with this new Mortal Kombat series as far as movies, or have you not seen the very first one?
No, I've seen the first one. I've been keeping up. I just, been so busy. I'm not glued to it the way that, we all typically have been, when we were younger. But yeah, I've been following.
So let me ask you. So one thing I noticed with this new Mortal Kombat thing. So as we grew up with Mortal Kombat where Liu Kang was the chosen one, right? And obviously we stuck with that from Mortal Kombat 1, Mortal Kombat Annihilation. Any Mortal Kombat game, it's typically centered. I don't say centered around Liu Kang, but Liu Kang is always the guy.
Usually the main character.
This one, I noticed with this new franchise, Liu Kang is like especially in this new one with the number 2 with like Johnny Cage. Liu Kang is like an afterthought, bro. It looked like Johnny Cage is the chosen one, and Liu Kang, and then Raiden came to come get him. So, how do you feel about seeing that? I'll go with you first, Lion J. How do you feel about seeing like it feels like the tables have turned a little bit where Liu Kang is still that dude, but we ain't focused on Liu Kang as much.
So this is me, and I could be wrong, Cass. You can correct me, but Johnny Cage has always been like the joke of the Mortal Kombat game, at least the game. So
I agree.
And the movie the movie, at least the first one, it wasn't around him. It was kind of like the same thing. Like he was there, but he wasn't like something that made.
He wasn't the chosen one.
He wasn't the chosen.
Yeah.
He didn't make a big movement in the movie. You know
I got you. Yeah. So for now to see that, do you feel like damn, like they kind of pushed Liu Kang to the back a little bit, or?
Yeah, I mean, this is a little interesting take to see Johnny Cage. I mean, he even said it. He's like, I'm not really a fighter, I'm an actor.
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
it's just and we see him do some pretty cool ass moves in that movie. So it's gonna be cool to see a different perspective than the usual one that we get, especially from the games, especially from the movies. You know what I mean?
How about you, Castro? How do you feel seeing Johnny Cage more in the spotlight in the movies?
I actually don't mind it, because what I notice is anytime the film industry reboots, the nostalgia movies or, things that we hold precious, they're never going to get it correct because nothing really is ever going to top the original.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? Because it's like, when you think about it, how many franchises have we sat here? It's like, they coming out with, like a Transformers. They coming out with this. They coming out with that.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And because they tried to stick to the original, storyline and basically just, pretty it up with the technology and everything that we have, we always felt cheated because it was like it didn't have that same bang that the original had. So it's like, for me, seeing how they're doing the Mortal Kombat movies, not even less, because remember they redid it when they didn't even call it MK9. We were calling it MK9. They just called it originally Mortal Kombat.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? And then the thing was, when they ended up making X, the only reason they did that is because we kept calling it 9. It originally was supposed to be MK2.
Gotcha. Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? So with them seeing how, like, okay, we can take some of the original content, but then we can basically build kind of like a new lore.
Yeah.
And the core fans, they're going to be like, okay, what have they changed now? But then there's going to be new fans as well that they're not really into the whole realm of Mortal Kombat. Like, yo, this is dope. True. So for me, the way that they took the movie, I'm like, okay, they're kind of following the same pattern that they've done with the games.
Yeah.
But then also at the same time, realizing the mistakes a lot of other studios have done with taking, older films. Because, like, one thing a lot of people are still up in arms about is they redid the Alien franchise. They gave us Prometheus.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
A lot of people was up in arms when Prometheus first came out, but then as time went on, they was like, yo, we love Prometheus. And then them listening to the people, they gave them what they were complaining about in Prometheus with Alien Covenant. And then they're like, yo, Alien Covenant just messed up everything that was in Prometheus. So it's like, now everyone, they're like, yo, if y'all gonna do anything alien related, y'all gotta complete, what Alien Covenant. And it's like, I see them, they're like, all right, we're not going to listen to them. We're going to basically take the lore. We're going to kind of follow the blueprint we did with the game. So it's like, for me, kind of centering it around Johnny Cage right now, it kind of forces you as a fan, like, okay, what are they going to do?
Yeah.
What angle are they going to come at me with? How are they exactly going to do this? Because again, if you've been following the game, you've realized how many things they've changed.
Yeah, a lot. Yeah.
Correct. You see what I'm saying? But then also at the same time, because of them explaining, certain changes or whatever, it's like, okay, that's not original, or that's not in the original, I should say. But you know what? I see what y'all doing. some people, they like it, other people they don't. But then, generally speaking, it gets a thumbs up. So, for me, the way that the direction the movie is going in, I ain't tripping too much about it.
Casher, let me ask you, because this is a big thing. This is why I fell in love with Mortal Kombat. Do you feel that the movies were able to capture the same moments, the same like heartbeat that we used to get with the fatalities?
That's a good question. That's good.
See, I was also one of the kids that got, I would go to the library and stuff and read the comics.
Yeah.
Yep.
And nothing tops the comics, the movies, the shows, but what I feel is that specifically at that point in time that we had, because I don't really remember too many fatalities in the Mortal Kombat movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, they didn't really
They tried to last.
Correct. Correct. So again, when you're saying the Mortal Kombat movie, are you talking about the recent one that came out or the original?
I would say like more recent time, the more modern movies. And I would agree with you. At least this is my take, is that I don't see them kind of lean in too much to the fatalities. Which that's what Mortal Kombat, and they kind of like capture a lot of the newer fans, especially with the games. Is that I remember when I grew up playing the games, I don't really care about the combos, everything. I just wanted to beat the person so bad so I could do a fatality on them, bro. And it's like I used to play my homies, bro, and like I was one of the guys that was good. I played Scorpion and Radiant, but Scorpion the best. Bro, to get the feeling to rip off someone's head and have their whole spine attached to him, bro, it said something. It's like to beat him in the game is one thing. To beat him with the fatality is like, nah, bro. Like
that's like murder.
Like you ain't got nothing on me. You for sure ain't got nothing on me, dog.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
Yeah. No. I agree. It's one of those things where, because of how I feel how they're presenting the movie, they have to kind of be delicate with it. You know what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, this is a business. They're in it to make money.
That's always the problem.
So correct. You know what I mean? Where it's like, if us true hardcore fans, like, we want to see, Sub-Zero, decapitate somebody with the spine hanging. We want to see Kano, pull somebody's heart out. We want to see Kung Lao, basically cut someone in half, where it's like, yeah, that's dope and everything, but then it's like, you see how soft our society is now.
Yeah.
Just imagine the uproar and the boycott, you know what I'm saying? Because people, they're still boycotting GTA now, and GTA is a norm in our society.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying?
We live this.
Exactly. So that's the reason why it's like, I feel with the movie and everything, it's like, okay, we're gonna try to give you guys, stuff that you want to see, but then also at the same time, things that'll make it a successful movie for us. Because they got to pay the actors, they got to do this, they got to do that, and everything, where I feel we would get more of a true to the core of it if it was like an independent film. Because I don't know if you remember, at one point in time, there were like 2 Mortal Kombat series, and they both were posted on YouTube.
I remember one of them was like confusing behind that.
Yeah, but they I forget the names of them, but they had one where Baraka was a human doctor that kept experimenting on people, and he became like addicted, and he started to like experiment on himself. And he became like a serial. I think one was Conquest, and then there was another one.
I know. Okay,
because it was 2 of them. But the point that I'm making is that the one that I'm specifically thinking about, almost, because they had it where I think it was like 8 or 10 episodes. In every episode, if I recall, fatalities were happening left and right.
Yeah.
But again, you can do that kind of as an independent, studio, because you're not so much in it for like, okay, we're trying to do box office, like, we want to put this out for our fans in a sense.
Have you seen Final Destination?
No. I got one. I got two more questions for you. So there's been a little bit of controversy, even though that you just saw the trailer. But as we all know, Katana, Jade, Melina. They have some type of. They're not really all sisters like that, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they got Jade is being played. First of all, the Jade we're getting is not the Jade that we know. They was all fine.
Yeah.
So this Jade, she's a black woman, right? And people are like, oh, like this is not like accurate to the freaking lore. And I'm like, so people are saying like people are kind of up in arms because it's being played by like a black girl, and it's not the fact that she's black, but she doesn't look as pretty as Jade does, and the fact that she's not whatever race they were. So how you feel about that whenever you hear stuff like that, where it's like, dog, I understand the way the world is today, but like, I feel them, but like, I don't look at it. I don't think that's an issue. Like, I don't know how you feel about the whole Jade being black, not being black as Jade being a black thing as an issue when it comes to the fandom.
I mean, I don't really, look, because the original Jade, if you played it on, I believe it was Sega Genesis, the original Blade she was of a darker complexion anyway.
Yeah.
But these are the same people that are complaining about the skin color of Ariel, who was a mermaid that lived in the Caribbean.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? Where it's like, you guys will sit there and complain about anything. It's a movie. I can understand where it's like, she's low shaven or bald headed, considering how you want to take it.
Yeah.
Where it's like, okay, yeah, in a more Western viewpoint, like, yeah, she might be less attractive than, how we normally see women. But also you got to remember where these characters, like, bro, for so long, Sub-Zero and them, they were portrayed by, white European people. Yeah. These are Asians. These are Asians, bro.
You ain't lying.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But they didn't complain. They didn't complain about that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Facts. Again, Katana, was portrayed for so long as, a white European woman. She's an Asian chick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And then even when we're considering the Asian, some of them were Japanese, some of them were Chinese, so they weren't even the same type of Asian.
Accurate, yeah.
You see what I'm saying? But they didn't complain about that. But then when, what happens was, like, let's say, for example, in the movie, they happen to make Kung Lao of Mexican descent. You see what I'm saying?
They call him Kung Pao.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? Where it's like, bro, like, why does it matter if they get a Mexican actor to play the role of Kung Lao, especially if he kills it?
Yeah.
Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I can understand if, they got somebody who's, not actually ethnically what he is, and, he did a horrible job. Like, yeah, you shouldn't have gotten that actor. But, if he got that actor, like, how many of us would really complain if they got Michael Jai White to play Liu Kang?
Oh, that'd be awkward. But yeah. I guess
you see what I'm saying?
But he's a good fighter. He's a good fighter. No.
Let me just get on you, and then DJP, I got one more question. Dirty Dinero. As a hardcore fan, though, and I'm coming from, like, because I'm a hardcore fan of other things, and it bugs me. I'm coming from, like, Marvel, and you can understand.
Yep.
The accuracy. You don't how much of that is severe in certain movies. It's like when the MCU, when I watch Marvel movies, I'm always like, all right, let me hit let me check the comic books. Let me go back to my crates in my mom's house. Let me relook at this. Like, oh, is it accurate? Oh no, it's not accurate. How they're gonna do it? Okay, I kind of know how they're gonna do it. You can kind of predict with Marvel, but with Mortal Kombat, and you said you were looking at the comics, like, it doesn't bother you as far as the accuracy, especially for someone like Jade, And I'm gonna push back on and be the devil's avocado. I'm seeing that why people are saying that Jade is not as attractive, because when I play Mortal Kombat every single time, the sisters were always
beautiful.
They were besides the mouth that they had, their monster mouth. They were gorgeous. That was the whole point of their character. It was that they entice you with your beauty until you take off the veil and you see that they're this type of monster. It's not that it's like a whole thing about race or a whole thing about beauty, but it's about accuracy as playing the character. That was the whole point of their character, is that they were beautiful, and you're like, oh damn, and then you get too close and you're like, oh shit, like, you know what I mean? And they can slice you in half or do whatever fatality. So that's why I push back a little bit. I'm saying is like, it's not so much about race. It's not so much about beauty. It's more about accuracy. And for you being someone that's a hardcore fan, how do you say, or would you answer that question?
Melina had the mouth.
No, yeah, Melina did. Yeah, Melina had the mouth. But
no. You're right. You're good.
No, I agree with you completely, because their beauty was their first line of offense that would go against whoever their opponent was, specifically if they were a male, because you would become so mesmerized. You'd be like, yo, you start, even if you knew who they were, because remember, they were assassins.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it wasn't like they were just regular, contestants. Like, no, they were assassins.
But there was like a disguise, though. That was a disguise.
No, correct. Because you weren't supposed to see them, but then if you did see them, you were supposed to be so mesmerized, where, again, according to how everything was supposed to play out, if you give an assassin, 2 to 3 to 5 seconds, sometimes that's enough time for them to get the job done.
Facts.
You see what I'm saying? So it's like, my whole thing is, I agree with you. I would like Jade to look how, we expect her to look, to be that femme fatale and everything like that. But this is where me, as being a more mature adult, where it's like, okay, how is your writing going to explain this?
Gotcha.
Because if your writing is top tier, you're going to be able to explain this away. And then someone like me, who's a hardcore fan, I'm going to be like, okay, I see what you did there.
I got you.
Don't.
Okay.
Damn.
I got this is my last question, because this also pertains to I guess you could say with the whole Mortal Kombat 1 game. So, just like Marvel, there was a lot of multiverses, which I kind of didn't like that they were doing. There's so many multiverses when it came to this Mortal Kombat. I don't like the universe thing in Mortal Kombat. That's just me. But obviously, everything I reset got Mortal Kombat 1. So a lot of characters per personas was different. Liu Kang was Fire Lord Liu Kang. In the movie, one thing that I do notice that we grew up, Johnny, and you probably understand, we always grew up in Mortal Kombat knowing probably Scorpion and Sub-Zero, probably two of the most popular characters.
Yep.
If not Scorpion, probably the most popular.
The popular character.
But I always saw Scorpion as like a bad guy. This time, ever since the new one, he's a good guy. Which is, he's good, right? And
yeah,
I'm looking at him more of a good guy than Sub-Zero is now these days, bro.
Wait, they had the sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but like the movie explained that it was the Scorpions versus the Sub-Zeros.
Yeah, it was. I forgot what
it was like a dynasty versus.
They're like two different
fractions of
clans.
Yeah. Okay.
Clans, right? So, how do you feel now? Obviously, growing up and people like Scorpion being such a bad guy, that now it's like he's a good guy. How do you feel about the shift on that? You feel like, damn, I kind of don't like this man being a good guy, or do you think it doesn't really matter that he's a good guy, or does it even bother you?
Okay, before I answer that question, I want to ask the both of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
How many of the bios did you guys actually read in the original Mortal Kombat?
I know why Scorpion is the way he is. I know about the whole him being full. I know all that, but I don't know about actual all that. So go ahead.
No, but see, the reason why I asked that is because, see, a lot of people in our generation that just played the game, but they didn't really read the bio and the information. So when the MK9 and all that basically came out, they're like, yo, they're reconning. It's like, it wasn't really reconning. It's now that they had the technology and now that they had the information and the time, they actually wanted to try to take the attempt for certain characters to actually tell out their stories the way that it originally was supposed to be. Because, see, in the original, well, not the original, but this recent Mortal Kombat movie, right? We're like, yo, why is Sub-Zero doing all of this, foul stuff, right?
Yeah.
But see, here goes the thing. The original Sub-Zero was always like that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Because again, if you think back, like a lot of us heard about the game, Mortal Kombat Mythology Sub-Zero.
Yeah.
That movie, the original movie that we, not the one in the 90s, the recent one, where they had this Sub-Zero, that's that Sub-Zero.
Got you.
You know what I'm saying? And then again, obviously, that's the reason why, like when you think about it, Sub-Zero has a different appearance in the original MK3. He has that slash across his eye.
Yeah.
But that Sub-Zero in MK3 was also the same Sub-Zero in MK2. But that Sub-Zero in MK2, he entered looking for his brother, not realizing his brother was killed in the original Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, I knew that one to be good. I knew that one to be more good. That's why I was like, okay, he's good. But
now, you see what I'm saying? So, no, but that's the point that I'm saying is that, again, like if you're actually looking into like the bio or whatever, it's not so much of a flip. You just kind of realize where they are in the timeline, where it's like, okay, Kuai Liang, you know, who they basically transformed into Scorpion, which, you know, kind of rubbed me the wrong way. But then again, I'm like, all right, let's see how this plays out. But, you know, again, to what I was saying is that Kuai Liang hasn't stepped on the scene yet.
Yeah.
So the Sub-Zero that we're seeing is actually Bihan. And Bihan was, you know, he was an SOB that nobody really, you know, liked to deal with, bro. And that's the reason. Because, like, honestly, for me, the only thing in the movie I want to see is how do they explain Noob Saibot. Because we know that Bihan becomes Noob Saibot. I want to see how do they explain it in this movie. Like, all the other stuff, you know what I'm saying? Because, again, remember, supposedly Kung Lao's in this movie, but we saw Kung Lao die in the last one.
That's I was like,
you see what I'm saying?
Oh, maybe he was the great Kung Lao.
Again, like I said, this is why it goes to the writing. How are you going to explain this? Because see, as you know, an adult, I'm like, okay, I'm not going to think with the mind of a child and be like, yo, this dude was dead. Like, why is he here? Because again, just like you just said, they could explain it where it's like, oh, you know, that was the great Kung Lao.
Yeah.
This is the current Kung Lao. It's like, okay, you know, I see what y'all did, but, you know, I digress.
You a good fan, man. You're giving grace. I mean, like, no, I'm just saying, like, no, like, it's just very, like, especially with the hardcore fan, like, with any kind of comic or just like original type of like content. Like, when you try to like redo a movie of it, or like even going from a book to a movie, it's just like, a lot of people are gonna like rely on the accuracy more on just like the actual movie, how good the movie is and stuff, or like how Castle explains it, how they write it, how they explain it.
Correct.
Marvel has been like in and out of like explaining the characters, and I mean up to now,
multiverse is always the answer.
They've been saved by the multiverse. The multiverse saved them with the writing. You know what I'm saying? So like,
man,
you know, they have a good cushion.
I'm gonna say this. I don't give Marvel the same grace that I give, you know, like other things.
Cass is a hater.
No, because that's
Cass is a hating.
Go ahead, Cass.
No. See, I'm not a hater because, all right, I'm gonna point this out. You're saying I'm a hater, right?
You're a hater. Go ahead.
Remember the movie where Thor was on another planet?
Ragnarok, yeah.
Yeah, when not Thor, when Hulk was on another planet, right?
Yeah.
How did he explain that?
No, it's not. I already know how he got
I
there.
know, but how did they explain it?
The ship took him there. But I
didn't
know that ship could go out of space like that.
There we go.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, but the point that I'm making is that was supposed to be in a Hulk movie, not a Thor movie.
He's right.
World War Hulk, yeah. Cass is right.
Correct. Yeah, because people like, again, I've been the type.
Comics.
Yeah, I've always been the type where it's like if comics are available, I read it. You know, I go into it. So it's like people, they don't even know about the whole, you know, Hulk versus series.
Yeah.
Oh, bro, the whole series of the comic books. Yeah, there's so many.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know, you see what I'm saying? Because again, in the Hulk versus series, it explains how Hulk gets there, and it has absolutely nothing to do with Thor.
Yeah.
If you actually wanted to tie it. If you wanted to actually tie it to anything, it would be tied to the Avengers.
He got tricked.
Because,
I see you learning.
But see, here's the thing. He didn't get tricked. They literally couldn't stop this man because he was like, yo, y'all keep calling me to help y'all. And then when everything is done, y'all trying to have this little peon Bruce Banner come back. I don't want Bruce Banner to come back.
He wants to be the Hulk.
You know what I'm saying? Exactly. He wants to be the Hulk.
Yeah.
So what they had to do was they had to find something to appease him where he wouldn't go on a rampage. And he basically told them, he was like, the only way I'm going to give y'all what y'all want is if you guys leave me alone.
Yeah.
So they came up with, they was like, okay, the only way we could leave this dude alone is if we physically take him off the planet, but that's not something we can do. Here comes Tony Stark, Mr. Smart behind. Well, technically, if he wants to get off the planet, technically, Stark's Enterprises, we've been working on this, that, and the third. We can. So then, what does Tony do? Tony goes to him and he talks to him.
Damn.
And he's like, yo, if you're serious, like, okay, I'll go ahead and you guys leave Hulk alone, and I'm gonna be, and that's how he ends up getting over there.
Yeah.
But then, again, I understand box office and all this or whatever. They tied it into a Thor movie. Now, don't even get me started, because the Civil War had absolutely nothing to do with what they showed us. The Civil War was against the X-Men and the Avengers.
Yeah.
But again,
that was sad, bro. That movie was sad. I was kind of disappointed with that one.
But see, this is what I'm saying. Like, me as an older adult, I have to stop thinking like a child.
Yeah.
Is because at that point in time, Fox didn't have the rights to, actually portray it. And everything, because they were going through what they were going through with the X-Men. So, they put their own spin on it. And it's like, me as an adult, I'm like, I kind of view it like politics. I'm like, I see what you did there. I don't really like it, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, that's all you can do nowadays, especially with like, all these movies and everything, IPs and everything.
Mm-hmm.
All right, well, Cash, before we take it out, I didn't want to ask y'all, and this is literally the last question, and then we'll take it out.
Go. How
How did y'all feel in the newer franchise, Mortal Kombat, them adding, remember how I said Liu Kang to be the chosen one? How do you feel about them adding a brand new character that's not in any of the games in Cole? And he was the main guy, and he was related to Scorpion's family somehow. They just added a new character in Mortal Kombat. He hasn't been in any games. And how do you guys feel about just the randomness of a new character?
Kaz, you go, because I want to hear Kaz's answer.
Okay, so me, I didn't like it, but then again, it goes back to, I want to see what the writers are going to do. Obviously, I wasn't satisfied with the writing in the first movie, but then I didn't give up hope, because then, I researched like a madman. It's like, okay, they got the green light to do a sequel.
Yeah.
So I'm hearing he's going to be in the sequel, and I'm hoping that they basically, I'm hoping that they explain what his role is, because what I keep thinking is they're basically giving a certain character that we are familiar with a prequel story that didn't have one before, and I think that's who he is.
So you think he become? I was like, what if he become like the new Scorpion, since he is type of some type of?
That'd be good if he write that in.
He's related to that Scorpion descendant.
Right.
So I'm just like, that'd be kind of hard if later on it's like, oh,
this is
the new
MK2.
Scorpion.
This is MK2.
Yeah, MK2.
Why does it feel like MK1 and MK2 is like completely two different?
Nah, hell no, it
movies?
feels perfect together.
It kind of feels a little different to me.
No, it feels like the first one we got introduced. Now it's like, this is a normal thing. And Johnny Cage, you got to come along with us.
Okay.
No, that's how I feel like for me. You think it feels different?
I wouldn't call it two.
What would you call it? Annihilation? That was a good movie.
I would call it that was really good. I would call it Johnny Cage.
Mortal Kombat Johnny Cage?
Or not even Mortal Kombat, just call it Johnny Cage.
Nah,
Because it looks like a Johnny Cage movie.
I think it's just focused about him. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Because if you do that, Cass, tell me if you agree. If you do Mortal Kombat Johnny Cage, right? This is like the game back in the day.
Okay.
Mortal Kombat Sub-Zero, right?
Yeah.
Ask Cass. All of us, as we're like, okay, if they did Sub-Zero, where's Mortal Kombat Scorpion? Where's Mortal Kombat Liu Kang? You get caught and say everybody gonna get their own game now. It's like, nah, nigga.
And then it becomes MCU and everyone gets
that's like, so nah, give me a movie.
Yeah.
But that's it. But Cass, anything that you want to say when it came to the anything else, brother?
No, because what I was going to say is to kind of top off with what you said. They actually did have a Mortal Kombat. It was one for Scorpion. It was something fire.
You see what I'm saying? I've never seen it in my whole life.
But it got trashed. Okay. Because remember, the company that used to produce Mortal Kombat was Midway, and then Midway ended up, basically kind of bankrupting. Where the whole reason they gave us Armageddon was they honestly, there was like, after this, unless someone picks up the franchise, there will never be a Mortal Kombat again. So they're like, we're just going to give you all the characters and we're just going to call it Armageddon. So when WB basically, picked it up from Midway and everything after that, that's why we have all this, multiverses and everything, like that. But to, kind of go back to what we were originally talking about is I'm more into like how they're going to write the story. Yeah. Because you see how we are stuck on the nostalgia and we're comparing movies to games.
Yeah.
And we're never going to be able to get a 100% rate on comparing anything, even like shoot, Michael Jackson Moonwalker has a game, and you see what I'm saying? But again, it's like you're never going to be able to.
Michael Jackson, the one that was like kind of like Ninja Turtles a little bit.
Moonwalker, it was like way back.
Super Nintendo. Yeah, but it was like the Ninja Turtles Super Nintendo game was like basically the same thing.
Yeah.
I
remember.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying? But the point that I'm saying is that this is why I'm so looking forward to the whole writing part is because when you have dope writers and people that are able to convey ideas,
James Gunn.
You can literally take a bad idea, a bad concept,
IP, yep.
You know what I'm saying, and present it because like again, all of us grew up watching Dave Chappelle, right?
Yeah.
Dave Chappelle came and went.
He did.
How many other comics have we seen? They've never been able to replicate what this man did.
Key and Peele.
That haven't been able to replicate, you saying, Johnny?
I mean, there's a lot of people that have, yeah.
But have they been able to do it to the degree? Because we're still saying Dave Chappelle jokes to this very day.
Yeah, I mean, you got Cat Williams. Cat Williams definitely up there.
Yeah, I mean, jokes are inspired like originality, but I'm saying like the whole idea of like the stand-up comedy with video, skits and stuff. I mean, the closest to that will probably be Key and Peele, but no one other than that is doing that. Yeah.
No, but that's my point exactly. That goes with great because when you talk about Key and Peele, you also recognize them for the writing that they do.
True. Okay.
You see what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying. Yeah.
I get you now.
So that's the reason why I specifically brought up Dave Chappelle because we have Cat Williams and Eddie Murphy and all these or whatever. But the thing is, you don't really look at them for their writing. Also,
facts.
Because it's like a person could be depressed right now. Let them put on the Chappelle Show.
Yeah.
You're gonna hear them. You're gonna hear them laughing. You see what? But again, that goes with like great writing where. There's shows like Martin. It's like that's the reason I like as I got older, especially when it comes to these things that are coming back out. I'm like, yo, I want to see what y'all writers are gonna do. How are you gonna approach this? How are you gonna sit there and captivate me? Because for a while it literally felt like a lot of people when they were rebooting movies and stuff, they just used it as a cash grab. Like, oh, I'm gonna slap the name of whatever, whatever this franchise is. I'm gonna sit like, bro. Like, I was so disappointed when they, redid Ninja Turtles. I'm like, bro, they don't even look like turtles, bro.
Aliens.
Well, I mean, that's always been the problem with capitalism and IP addresses and stuff, or not IP addresses, but just like intellectual properties and stuff like that. And, capitalism just kind of just ruins it off. But man, hey, Castro, man. Thanks for coming on, bro. You informed me a lot, bro. Yeah, bro.
A lot about Mortal Kombat.
I love when people are like, I especially love when we get to geek out about like, the stuff we love, especially like, comic books and games and stuff, bro. So Castro, again, thank you for coming on, bro. I appreciate you, man.
Hold on. Also,
my pleasure.
Castro does do music.
Yeah.
He definitely can. Send us a beat over here. We put it up in the intro.
Yeah, put an intro.
Kaz, you want to let people know where they can find you, bro? Do you want to let the people know where you can find you, or you kind of offer the social media thing?
Off the grid.
No, I'm on social media, but
let people know where they can find you.
We'll shout
you out. It's my government name, which is Castro Simius. On both platforms, but on Instagram it's Castro88.
Castro88 right here in the bottom. Make sure you check him out. He has some fire ass beats right here, located in Florida.
Hold on, one more time. Yes, that too. Yes, located in Florida. Cass, when the album coming out, boy?
Well, I don't know yet. That depends upon the industry and everything. That depends upon you know, the industry and all that. But no, I got a single dropping this month, so
Hey,
you know it'll be out soon. Yeah, it'll be out soon.
Well, you already know, bro. You've been giving us a lot of love. We'll put your music on us when let us know when you drop that. You know, we shot you out. We'll put your music on intros and the exits and everything. But again, Castro, thanks for coming in. Mr. DJP, take us out.
Sir.
All right, man. Like I said, man, Castro, thank you for my cousin coming on. Definitely broke down this Mortal Kombat thing. But like we say, bro, if you are watching this and you're not subscribed, that's effed up, and you can find us on all handles. Peace. All right, Castro.